All right, if you're just joining, guys, I'm giving it one more minute and then we're going to get started. All right, we are going to get started on prepping to get paid, one of the most important things after all the hard work that everybody puts in. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to go through the process of uploading the documents to an opportunity and creating our commission tabs, which the commission tab is really important, guys, because you have to submit it in order to get paid. So even if you upload all your documents, you still have to make sure that commission tab is completed. So I'm going to share my screen and we are going to start. As we're going through everything, if you have a question, feel free to unmute or type in the chat box and I will answer it as quickly as possible. Now, I will mention if you want to wait till the end, that's fine, but I might not know where you're referencing if you get lost or anything. So I would highly recommend just unmute or type in the chat box as we're going through that specific section. So now, can everyone see my screen where it says Welcome Home, Cassie? Thank you for the few of you that I can actually see your faces, so I appreciate that. So when you jump into Command, the first step when you're prepping to get paid, before you're even uploading documents or anything, you need to create an opportunity or a transaction file. So I always like to start in the contacts to do that, but there's two ways to create an opportunity. The first way is through the contacts. So if we click on contacts here, it's going to bring you into your contact section and you can navigate to a specific contact, or you can click on add contact and you can go through and add their full name, email address, phone number, any information you have for that individual, and then create the contact. Once you create the contact, then you're able, if it lets me go, there we go. Then you're able to go into that specific contact by clicking directly on the name. A lot of people like to check the box to the left. You don't need to. You can actually go right in and you can click directly on the contact's name. So when you click on the contact's name, it opens up what's called their contact record. And over on the right-hand side are things you can do with that contact. Since today we're talking about prepping to get paid, that would be the opportunities section. So a lot of you might already know this, but then you would click on opportunities and you would either create opportunity or click on an existing opportunity. Keep in mind, you're creating the opportunity when you get that client and you're trying to create the documents. So if you need to send the consumer notice, the listing contract, buyer agency, whatever it might be, you're going to be creating this opportunity from the start. So you should, if you're already working with that client, that opportunity should already exist, because you're going to be submitting documents throughout the process, guys. And we're going to get into that in a couple minutes. So this is one way to create that opportunity. The other way is over here on the left-hand side, you're going to see all the different icons or applets within Command. There's the handshake icon where you can click on opportunities. This is the opportunities dashboard. So rather than going through the contact record, you can come to the opportunities dashboard and you can click on create opportunity. When you click on create opportunity, this form will open up, which it works the same way. It's the same form if you went through the contact section or if you go through this section. All right, so now in here, you're going to fill in all the information for the opportunity. Now, some of you might say, well, I already created the opportunity. How do I get to upload the documents? We're going to get there in a couple minutes. So you're going to go through and you're going to fill in this opportunity form. The market center is going to be Pocono because that's what our office name is. The opportunity name, the opportunity type is the most important part. It's where you're selecting if it's a listing, buyer, landlord, or tenant. You cannot change this. So if you select buyer instead of listing, you have to go back and create a new opportunity. And the reason for this, guys, is because you're going to get the checklist of what documents you need to upload. So if you're selecting buyer, but it's a listing, you're going to have the wrong checklist of documents. Set yourself up the right way and make sure you have the right opportunity type in here. Now, team, if you're in the coaching team, you'll have the coaching team listed there. The owner will either be your name or the pro coach or productivity coaching. The client's name should autofill if you go from the contact record. Now, if it doesn't autofill because you went from the opportunities dashboard, that's okay. What you're going to do is you're going to go to this client name and you're going to start typing in the person's name. When you do that, anyone with those letters within their name, first or last, will start populating and you can select them. When you do that, then you're going to jump down and you can put in a co-seller or co-buyer, and then the opportunity name. The opportunity name, just so everyone is aware, it should be the address of the property. If you're leaving it as the client's name, it will be returned to you by the compliance team for you to correct it to the address of the property. Then custom tags, this is a way to organize your business. So if you wanted to tag the title company that you're using or the mortgage company, you could do that in the custom tag section. The benefit to doing that, guys, is at the end of the year, if you want to see, let's say, how many times you use KPSS, you can pull up that tag and see all of the closings that you had with that specific title company or mortgage company. A lot of people like it because it keeps everything organized. Then you can enter in the closing date, the time frame for which they want to close, the estimated list price. For this, I selected listing. I should have, there we go. And then commission rate down here. So you might say to yourself, well, the commission rate might change once I meet with my clients. That's fine. You can enter in 3%, 2.5%, and you can actually update that later. So you're going to go through, you're going to fill everything in, and then you'll see that there's something called a phase and a stage. These two drop downs are for you to move your contact and this transaction through the transaction pipeline. So see these pipelines that are behind that are grayed out? Using these drop-down menus, you can update the status or where they're at in the transaction by updating those. This part gets very confusing for a lot of people, and I completely understand. But let's say you're just cultivating the lead. Maybe you haven't even spoken to them. It was a lead that came in through your website. So you're cultivating the lead and maybe watching them, nurturing them, or it's a hot lead. You can update the phase and the stage will also change. If it changes to, let's say, appointment, well, are you scheduling the appointment? Is it scheduled already? Did they keep the appointment? See how when I update the phase, the stage options will change. When it's active, so let's say this listing, you got it, great job. Now it's active within the system, you put it in the MLS. So, well, are they staging the home? Are they showing the home? Or are they in negotiations with the home? When we get to the next screen, you're going to see that there's also the option to update this to under contract, to closed. There are other options. But the phase and the stage are important as you're moving through, because when you get here to the pipelines, you can see from cultivate to appointment to active to under contract to closed. And the purpose is so you can see your GCI, your gross commission income, so the potential income and the probable income. If you're not updating the different phases and stages, this section does not update. If you're not putting in all the information in those details, it doesn't update. So I just wanted to give a little bit of background about how to create that opportunity, because that's going to be really important when you get a client. You're going to create the opportunity because you're going to need forms pretty quickly if you're going to show homes or list a home. Now from here, does anybody have any questions about either way of creating the opportunity?
Hey, Colleen.
Yes, Andrew.
So you recommend for every buyer to start an opportunity, even if you don't have an appointment set yet, just to keep
So,
track of everybody, like in nurture.
so I know a lot of people do start one. I would recommend it because you can put them in Cultivate, and then when you're ready and you have the appointment, you can quickly go in and start the transaction and get the documents ready in DocuSign.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, it's totally up to you though, but I do recommend it so that you can have it in that Cultivate phase so that you're ready to go.
Okay. Thanks, Colleen. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Great question. Before we move on to actually getting into the opportunity and uploading documents and everything, does anyone have questions about actually creating the opportunity? Okay, we're going to move on. Feel free to unmute or type in that chat box. So I'm going to navigate into an opportunity. So I created one previously. So I'm going to go into, we're going to work with Mickey Mouse today. So we're going to navigate into Mickey Mouse's opportunity. So I'm going to click directly on Mickey Mouse's name. I'm going to go over to my opportunities here, and I'm going to navigate into the opportunity that I just created. So when I click on that opportunity name, it's going to open up the actual opportunity. Think of it this way, guys. Command is your filing cabinet, and these are the files within the filing cabinet. So an opportunity is the file. So in this file, when you open it up, you're going to see the details. You're immediately brought into the details. So you're only going to see Mickey Mouse's information in here. You're not going to see Jane Doe's information because they're not involved in this transaction. This is all specific to Mickey Mouse. So in here, you're going to be brought to the details, and you're going to see that there are small pencils that you can click on to edit the information. So if you click on any of these sections, you can edit. So if we click on the key information section, you're going to see, and I just have to move you guys up, bear with me, you can edit the general information. So if you forgot to update the address for the property, so the opportunity name isn't the client's name, you can go in and edit the general information and change Mickey Mouse to the actual address. And if you want to, because a lot of people still like to have the name of the client in the opportunity name, you can add that at the end. So you can put a dash or a hyphen and just put Mickey Mouse or whatever is the name of the client. Then from there, you can update the custom tags. So again, you didn't have to do that in the beginning. If you want to organize your opportunities at this point, you can go into custom tags and you can change that information. The deal owner would be your name because you are working on this transaction. This is your command account and it's all filtering through there. The contact name automatically filters through. If you find out there's a co-seller or co-buyer, you can go in at this point and you can add them in. The opportunity phase, like I was saying before, you can update that throughout the transaction. So if you move from active to under contract, you can update that in this dropdown, because then that would update in the pipeline so you know what your gross commission income will be. Then the opportunity stage, based on the phase, you can change that. So if you, let's say you're under contract, well, are you in escrow? Are there inspections happening? Appraisal? What is happening at this point? Then you can go through and there's different dates that you can plug in. And this is really beneficial to put in, guys, because this helps with your goals section of Command. And it also filters through to DocuSign or Dotloop, because some of you might be using Dotloop. So the more information you put in this detail section, the better, because it actually feeds over to your DocuSign or Dotloop. Then as you scroll down, you're going to see estimated list price. You can plug that in. And any other key dates or information, you can put in this general information. And then if you make any changes, you just want to save at the bottom. And this goes for each of the sections. So if you're clicking on the pencil and editing anything, this will help to feed through to DocuSign or Dotloop. So now we're ready to go over to documents. So now you're going to click on documents. And most of you, if you're at this point and you're prepping to get paid, you would have already completed the documents. So we're not actually going to go into DocuSign or Dotloop today. That's a separate class on DocuSign that we'll have. in the coming weeks. But what you're going to do, let's say your client has already signed all of the documents and you're ready to upload the documents for compliance so that you can get prepared to get paid. So there are different points that you should be submitting your documents. You should not wait until the closing has happened. So a lot of people like to wait, and we would not like you to wait at all. You need to upload your documents throughout the process. So let's say for this example, it's a listing. So when you've listed the property and it's in the MLS, at that point, you're coming into the opportunity and you're going to the listed folder and you're uploading the documents to these placeholders here so that you can submit to the MC, which is the market center, to the office. So what you'll notice when I came in, you're going to see listed, and then we have all of these placeholders. There, for each column, there's going to be a header that says status, requirement, document, or type. Status, right now, nothing has been uploaded, so it's going to say not uploaded. When you've uploaded them, it will say uploaded. When you've submitted them, it will say submitted. And if it's approved, it will say approved. So that's by the compliance team. Or if it's returned, it will be returned and it will say returned with notes. And we're going to look at that in a couple minutes, but I want to explain what each column is. Then after status, you're going to see requirement. So that tells you if the document is required, conditionally required, or optional. A lot of people question conditional and think that means optional. Conditional means based on that transaction, you may need the document. So there are times like lead-based paint disclosure, you're not going to need it for the transaction based on the date of the property. So just know that most of these documents are going to be required, but there are some that are going to say conditional, and that is based on the transaction. Then there's documents. So these are the document names. These are the names of the documents that you need to upload. These are required by the office. Type would be the type of document. So we just mark if it's a disclosure, a contract, or other. Then you're going to see on the right-hand side that there are drop-down menus for each of these placeholders. This is where the documents are going to be uploaded to be submitted to the Market Center. Now there's a couple different ways that you can upload and submit. So if you've connected your DocuSign or Dotloop, what you're going to notice up here is it will say attach files from, and you can select where you're uploading those documents from. So right now, attach files from, it's defaulting to DocuSign because I connected this transaction in DocuSign. But you can also upload from your computer. So let's say another agent sends you the fully signed seller's property disclosure and it's saved to your computer or it's in your email and you save it to your computer. You can actually go to My Computer manual and you can upload from your computer as well. For the most part, guys, you are going to either use DocuSign or Dotloop, whichever forms provider you're using, and you're going to upload from there. But every now and then you'll get a PDF that's saved to your computer that you're going to use that manual upload from your computer. So before I proceed to actually show you guys how to upload the documents, I know that's a bunch of information. What questions do you have?
Hey, Colleen.
Yes.
I just wanted to ask you quick. I know this might sound silly, but
No, go ahead.
when you are, because okay, so we're uploading them, and you said about you don't want to wait to the end to submit, but you can't actually submit to MC till everything's uploaded, correct?
So you can actually submit at all different points.
Okay.
So you can actually upload just some of the documents and submit. But what we recommend, especially for a listing portion, that
Mhm.
it's in the MLS first. So
Okay.
at that point, if it's in the MLS, you're going to have basically all of these documents ready to
Right.
go.
Okay.
So this is for the listing side. Now for the buyer side, you still, when it's under contract, you still want to submit everything, but you might not have the receipt of documents.
Right.
You might not have certain reply to inspections. There's certain things you might not have. So
Okay.
if that happens, you're still going to submit, but then you
Mhm.
might get a note from compliance. Well, you will get a note from compliance, and they'll let you know that, hey, you're just missing these whenever you receive them, just upload and submit.
Okay, so we should still submit even if we don't have it all, even though we're gonna get a note from compliance, which sounds like a principal note off, or like a note from the principal's office. I don't like how that sounds.
So no, it's not bad at all.
Okay.
Heather is the head of our compliance, and
Right.
she's fantastic, super sweet. She's not the principal. She'll help you in any way she can. So don't feel that way, guys.
Thank you. I just
Yeah,
wanted to
put it
double
this
check.
way,
Thank
I'm
you.
not, I'm here to, help you guys out wherever you need it. So
Thank you.
See,
course.
Heather's great.
I try to be. Thank you.
Thanks, Heather. So now from here, does anybody have any questions how we got to this point, or any questions about the columns or anything in here, guys? All right. So at this point, we're ready to upload the documents. You've sent them off to your clients. They've already signed. The other parties have signed if it's on the under contract side. Everything's executed and we're ready to upload. So we're going off a listing contract right now. So in this checklist here, we're going to go through, and it's going to be from DocuSign that I'm uploading because that's where they were signed, and they're in the room docs. In DocuSign, you can create separate folders. Some of you might not have done that, but if you did, you'd have to go to the folder that you want to utilize to upload from. That's a little confusing, so if you have questions on that, let me know. But most people are going to go from the working folder called Room Docs. When you do that, you're going to go into this drop-down menu. So we're going to start, let's say, with the consumer notice. You're going to go to where it says select, and you're going to go to the drop-down. In the drop-down here, you're going to see, sometimes it's a very long list, but right now it's very short. So you're going to see anything that's signed, and there's certifications every time you send an envelope. So you're going to see certifications in there as well. One thing I want to mention to everybody, because people don't realize this is an option, you can actually type in this select dropdown. So if you're just looking for the consumer notice, you can go in and you can start typing consumer notice, and it will only show the documents with that name. Because a lot of people are scrolling through that entire list, and that sounds exhausting. So I would recommend typing in the actual name of the document, and you know the name of the document because over here in the document column, the name is right there. So then when you see it in the dropdown, you're going to select the signed version, and only the signed version is going to be in that dropdown. So the template version that you had, that's not going to be available. Does everybody get what I mean in that placeholder and clicking on select and uploading that document to that placeholder there? Because now that PDF version is going to be right here for you to submit, but we're going to wait to submit until we have all the documents in this checklist and then submit to MC. You can also click on this document. So if you click on it, it will show you a preview. Well, it'll actually show you the entire document. So if you go in, you can actually see. I think somebody's trying to join. One sec, guys. There we go. All right. So in here, you can actually preview the document and see that, okay, the signatures are on there. This actually would be returned by our compliance team, by Heather, because the license number isn't on there. So make sure, while you're making sure that the clients have signed, that all the information is there, make sure you're putting your info in there correctly too, and your license number is there. Now we're going to move on to the next document. So let's say I'm ready to upload my listing contract. I can go over to this dropdown and I can select the document. Now, if there's just one in the list, it makes it a little easier, or I can type in the name of the document and it will appear, and I can click on it and upload it there. So you're going through each of these placeholders, guys, and you're uploading each of the signed documents. Any questions on that portion? So you're going to go through, you're going to upload each document that's required or conditionally required. And then once you've done that, you'll notice that the status has changed and now it's uploaded because you uploaded documents there. And now you can click Submit to MC once you have all the documents in that checklist. Now, if before you click Submit to MC, you notice that you uploaded the wrong document, like let's say my consumer notice didn't have my license number on it. Before I submit, I can click on these three dots and I can remove it and then upload the correct document to that section. Once you submit, you'll be able to update the document in that section. So if Heather returns it to you and you have to make corrections, these 3 dots right here, remove will change to update, and you can update the document that's in there. So then once you do that, once everything is uploaded, then you're going to click on Submit to MC. When you click on Submit to MC, it's going to say, are you sure you want to submit this for review? And it's going to tell you avoid delay in approval by ensuring all attached documents are accurate. That's why you may want to click on each of the documents and double check that your info, everything's good. And then you're going to submit. And Heather's going to return this to me, but I want to show you guys what it looks like. So in here now you'll notice that the status has changed to submitted. So you've successfully submitted it to the office for review. Now what will happen is Heather's going to go on the office side. She's going to go through all of your documents, review each of them for initials, signatures, all the information is accurate, license numbers are there, everything is correct. And then she's either going to approve it and your status will update to approved, and you'll know it's approved because you'll get a notification in command on the notification bell. If it's returned, you're going to get a notification as well. It will say status returned, and Heather will add notes as to what you're missing or what needs to be corrected. And the notes are under this comment section, so add comment, and you'll be able to see the comments in here. And you can actually write notes back to Heather or myself or Bob Hay or David Coulter. So in this comment section, so if there's something specific that you want Heather to know or someone on the team to know, you can go where it says add comment, and you can go enter your message, and you're going to type the @ symbol, and then you can select who you want the message to go to. Typically it's going to be Heather or myself, because a lot of times the other team members don't get the notifications right away. So if you need them directly, I would call them. But other than that, you can select between Heather and myself, and then you can type a note, add the reply, and then that will go over to Heather. She'll know this is a test for this one, but she'll see any of your notes, and then most likely she'll call you if you have questions or anything like that. But she can also respond in here. So make sure you're checking your notifications. And again, the notifications, if you have the mobile app downloaded for Command, you'll get push notifications there. But when you log into your Command account, there's a notification bell up here that you could see your messages. And that goes for every checklist within this opportunity. So that was just the listed portion. When you go under contract, you're going to go to the under contract checklist on the left here. You're going to see all the required, conditionally required, or optional documents that you need to upload. And you're going to go through and select them from the dropdown and then submit to the office. So you could be submitting, guys, between 2, 3, or more times, depending on the transaction. But you want to submit early and often because you want to make sure these documents get in prior to closing. You don't want to be sitting at the closing table having to have people initial documents that you should have completed in the listing portion. You don't want to backtrack because they're not going to come back to you. Well, some might, but they're going to think you're not very competent with getting documents done. And we want to make sure everything is streamlined and easy for you guys. That's why there's a double and triple check system, so that if the real estate commission came in and said, hey, I need to see that file for 123 Main Street, we can pull up Mickey Mouse's file and we can see every document that's fully executed. So again, you're submitting multiple times throughout the transaction. You have that interaction with the compliance team right away. You can add the comments and go back and forth with them. Heather's very receptive and you can also call her. But anything that you need to upload, any documents, you want to make sure you're doing that. Custom folders, a lot of people ask questions about this. You could use them for maybe text messages or emails if you want them in a safe place, all in one place for the file. We don't review the custom folders. So if you upload to a custom folder, the compliance team will not look at it. you have to make sure you're only uploading to listed, under contract, and closed for the listing side. And then if it's the buying side, under contract and closed, and rentals, the landlord or tenant sides. Any questions on uploading documents, submitting documents, adding comments, any questions at all? All right, so that is uploading documents. I think I covered everything for that. So we're gonna jump into the offers and commissions, which I know a lot of people don't like, but it will get easier as you do it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna jump in there now. To get to the offers and commissions section, we're gonna click directly on offers and commissions. When you click on offers and commissions, you're gonna be brought into this section that will say offer timeline. And it will say there are no offers on this deal. The offers portion is actually a formality. We just have to go through it to actually get to your commission breakdown. This part is really important because it tells us who needs to be paid what. So if there is an outside referral, you're able to add that in the commission section. If there's another agent, let's say Cassie refers business to Janine and Janine needs to pay her 25%, this is the section you're going to tell us so that the accounting team, we can get you paid correctly. So right now it's going to say offer timeline. There are no offers for this deal. So we're going to click on the right-hand side, and some of you might not be able to see it if you have the Zoom pictures up. You might need to move everybody over. But on the right-hand side, it says add new offer. It's a teal or blue or green button. Add new offer. You're going to click on there, and it's going to bring you to this screen that says create new offer. This create new offer screen, a lot of people get worried about and they can't figure out how to utilize it or get to the next portion. We're going to go through this. As you have questions, please unmute or type in the chat box. The first field that you have to fill in is the offer name. Leave it as initial offer. Don't overcomplicate it. Leave it as is. Then the property address, you're going to see that right now it auto-filled from my details section. That's great, but when I go to the bottom here, it's not going to let me move forward. And the reason for that is you have to click on select from KWLS. When you click on select from KWLS, what this is the Keller Williams listing system. So it's our internal listing system that feeds from the MLS. When you click on select from KWLS, it's going to bring up this screen where you have to select the property. So if you have your listings synced to your command, which everyone should, you're going to see your listings in this list here. So I'd be able to go through and click on select and add it in. If you do not see your listing in this list, it happens from time to time, you're going to go where it says show only my listings, and you're going to show all listings. And then you can type in the address or search by MLS number. Because every now and then, guys, when you go under only my listings, it doesn't show for some reason. But if you go to all listings and type in the address or the MLS, you're going to find it in the list. Pardon me one sec. Sorry about that. So if ultimately, for some reason, you cannot find that listing in only my listings or all listings, pardon me, you can actually create a Keller exclusive listing. So it's more of an internal listing. So you can go into create Keller exclusive listing, and you're going to go through and you're going to fill in all of the information with a red asterisk. This is a last resort. If you cannot find your listing in the only my listings or all listings section, call me because I will walk you through it, because every now and then it just doesn't find the listing. But typically, if you and I work on it, we'll be able to find it. But if ultimately we both can't find it, it's not in there, you're going to go in and create the Keller exclusive listing. When you do that, pardon me, guys. All right, we're going to go into the listing category. And you're going to choose between for rent, for sale, sold, off market, sale and rent, rented, leased. So we're going to say for sale, and then the listing agent should automatically filter through. You should see your name there. Then the property type, you're going to have a lot of different options to choose from. Most of the time it's going to be residential, so you're going to select residential. Every now and then it might be lots and land, and every now and then commercial. But we have a commercial division so that you can refer business to commercial. So we're going to select residential. When you do that, you do have to select a property subtype. So you have to select between apartment, condominium, manufactured home, single family attached, detached, multifamily, adult community, vacation home, and so on. So we're going to select from here. Let's just say it's a single family detached for this one. And then the expiration date, you would have entered this in the MLS, so you could just type in exactly what the expiration date is. So let's go in there. And then the current price, let's say this one's $150. And then you have to type in the address. And again, this is a last resort that you're entering in this exclusive listing. Most of the time, it's going to appear under only my listings or all listings. So then you're going to type in the address. It should start auto-populating from Google the addresses, so then you can grab it in there. And it auto-fills the zip code, the city, the state, and the country. Then at the bottom, you're going to say, I understand and agree. There's a lot of legality in that section for the legal disclaimer, but you're literally just trying to get paid, so you just have to manually enter this listing. So when you do that, then you're going to click on Create and Select Listing. And it tells me this, so let me go in. There we go. Every now and then it'll say that the expiration date is not accurate, so you have to go in and you have to change it. So again, what we did, because there's a lot of steps there, you're going to click Select from KWLS, and you're going in to select the listing that you want to utilize for this commission tab. If it's not existing under only my listings or all listings, you're going to create a Keller exclusive. But for the most part, you're going to find it under only my listings or all listings by using the address or MLS number. I'll be completely honest, I would highly recommend using the MLS number. It works much better. Yes, Millie, there will be a recording on the YouTube channel, so that should be out within the next couple days. So now once you've selected that listing, then you're going to see it populate in the property address field here. So now we're ready to move forward. Under the property type, it defaulted to residential because that's what we put in when we entered the listing. The classification does have to be filled in, so if it doesn't default to resale, you have to make sure you select resale. If it's a multifamily or new home or a lot or anything like that, you can select a different classification. The total units for this one, this is one side of the transaction. So if you're a dual agent, you have both sides, you have to actually create a separate opportunity for the other side. So in this instance, if I had the buyer, I'm going to have a separate opportunity for that buyer file. So right now, the total units for this would be 1. Then we're going to scroll down. You're going to see the seller's agent representative for this transaction. It's going to be your name as the agent. Then the buyer's agent, we're going to make it Donald Duck. Well, the buyer's name is going to be Donald. And then down below, you can add the buyer agent representative if you choose to, but it's not a required field, so I would skip it, guys. Anything with a red asterisk is what you want to fill in to make your life easier. Sales price, you're going to type in exactly the amount of the sales price. If they paid cash for some of it, so let's say they did $125 cash. You can adjust the cash amount in there, and then it would adjust the finance amount. But if they strictly financed, you can leave cash as is. It would default to $0, and then the full sales price would be the $150. A big question we get here is, what about seller's assist? All we care about in this section is what you're getting paid on. So if you're getting paid on $145,000 and you're getting a $3,500 commission check, then change the sales price to $145,000. So if there's a $5,000 seller's assist, you can adjust this based on what you're getting paid on. Now, if there's no seller's assist and you're just getting paid on the $150,000, leave it as $150,000. A lot of people wait until the next screen to deduct the seller's assist and everything. Don't do that. Do that right here. Whatever you're getting paid on, put that dollar amount in there. Then earnest amounts and everything not required, don't put it in. Don't worry about it. Contract date, although there's no red asterisk, when you get to the next screen, it's going to request that you enter it. So just enter the contract date in here. So let's say we went under contract on the 1st. Pardon me. And then the closing date, we're just going to put in July 24th. And then we're ready to move on and create and accept offer. Before I do, I know this is a lot of information. We went through it slow. Honestly, guys, it's going to take you only a couple minutes when you get in here and do it. And the first couple times it might take a little longer, but it won't take long. Now, any questions on any of the fields that we entered the information in? Okay, I'm going to move forward, but if anybody has questions, let me know. We're going to create and accept offer. So on the bottom right-hand side, there's that teal button that's create and accept offer. We're going to click on it. It will say new offer has been created, and here's where we really want to be. I wish we could skip the offer section because this is the most important part, but we can't. So we did that portion and now we're here. So what we're going to do at this point is you're actually going to give us the breakdown of who is being paid what. So in here, you're going to see the commission overview is the first section. You're never going to utilize the add contingencies. Leave that. Don't click on it. Don't use it. General information section, sales price, $150,000. If you get to closing and it's changed, you can actually go in and edit the general information and change that sales price. Because for the most part, you should be submitting your commission tab when you're under contract. A lot of people wait until it's closed, and that's okay, but we highly recommend doing it when you're under contract. But with that being said, there are some things that can be changed, and you have to go in and change the sales price or your commission amount if it changes before the closing. So to do that, you would click on Edit General Information, and you can adjust that sales price. Then we're going to go to commission information. You are never going to click on Add Co-Broker. That is used in other states. It is not used in our state or by our office. Please do not click on Add Co-Broker. In this listing commission section, there are two things that you can do. You can edit your listing commission. So let's say if your commission amount has changed, it's no longer $4,500. You can edit your listing commission, and let's say, all right, there were some negotiations. I'm only getting $4,000 now, so you can adjust that to $4,000. What you'll notice is there is this red lettering with a triangle with an exclamation point telling you something is wrong, something is not balanced. We're going to get to that. I'll show you in a second. That's your agent payment section. So you're going to save this information when you adjust that commission amount, and then we're going to go down to the agent payment section and adjust the dollar amount because right now $500 is unaccounted for. So you need to adjust this to the correct dollar amount. So just because you did it in the listing commission section does not mean it's reflecting in the actual agent payment breakdown section. A lot of people will get in here and say it's not balancing, it won't let me submit, and more often than not, it's because the commission information, the dollar amount does not match the agent payment dollar amount. Any questions on any of that so far? All right, so let's say a fellow agent referred business to you. So my example before was Cassie. Let's say she referred business or vice versa to Janine. what you would need to do is you need to add that second agent onto this commission so that we know we have to pay them. So what you're going to do is where it says agent payment, you're going to add another agent. When you do that, this drop down right here, you can select from all of our KW Pocono agents. So that would mean the Stroudsburg office, Milford, Albrightsville, Tannersville, Scioto, or Galligan, or Bob Kelly, or Jim Chrisman. So there are a lot of different sections there, but all of those agents filter through the Pocono office. So let's say it was Janine that Cassie is giving 25% to. So Janine referred business to Cassie, and Cassie has to pay her 25%. So we're going to select Janine from the dropdown. So now the commission has changed to 4,000. So we have to figure out, all right, Janine gets 4,000. Sorry, Cassie is getting 4,000, but we need to adjust that because 25% is going to Janine. So we're going to do $1,000 to Janine. Come on, nope, and I'm putting it in the units because the box was over it, sorry. So if you scroll down, we're going to change this to 0.25, and it does this sometimes. Let me see, there we go. So you're going to adjust this because she's supposed to get 25%. So the units will change from 1 to Janine's side is getting 0.25, and then, sorry, Cassie is getting 0.75. So when you do that, you're going to go down here and you're going to put in the gross commission for Janine to be $1,000 because that's 25% of the 4,000. And then it's going to tell you again that there's $1,000 that you're overpaying. So because right now it's acting like it's $5,000. So we need to go back and adjust Cassie's side. So now we've added in the 1,000, we're going to save. And we're going to go back to Cassie's side and edit the listing commission because it's no longer 4,000, it should be 3,000. And then we'll see. Nope, I went into the wrong field. Come on. Sorry. Move over. There we go. Cassie, edit agent payment. So in here, you're going to adjust Cassie's to 0.75. There we go. And you're going to adjust the gross commission and save. So if someone else within the market center needs to be paid, you have to add them to the commission tab. If you don't, we have no idea that that person has to be paid. So make sure that you're adding another agent and you're adding them in. And again, that's just internal agents, KW Pocono agents. If it were a Keller Williams Bethlehem, Allentown, another agent, you would have to add them as what's called an outside referral because it's outside of our ecosystem that has to be paid. Before we get into the outside referral, any questions on the general information, commission information, or agent payment sections? What's really great about the agent payment section, if you go to the payment breakdown, you can actually see, you should be able to see, there we go, your royalty and your company dollar. So if you're wondering where you're at, if you're close to capping or anything like that, I'm not going to fully show it on the screen because I'm not going to give other people's information out as to how close they are to royalty and company dollar. But you can actually, when you click on that little caret or arrow where it says payment breakdown, you can actually see royalty and company dollar, how much you've paid in. So a lot of times people will call and say, hey, am I close to capping? You could see it right there. So before we move on to outside referral, does anyone have any questions on the agent payment breakdown, commission information, or commission overview? I know it's a lot to take in, guys. That's why the recording is going to go out too. All right, we're going to move on to the outside referral. So let's say that there is an agent that needs to be paid outside of the Keller Williams ecosystem, Keller Williams Pocono. You're going to click on Add Outside Referral. And in here, you're going to indicate all the outside information. So if they're getting paid 25%, you're going to type in the percentage and it will auto calculate the amount. You're going to put in the representative name. who that would be the person that is receiving the referral, not the company. It's the person at that company that's receiving the referral. Then you're going to plug in their phone number. You're going to select what type of phone number it is, office, cell, fax, or other. The company name, DBA, you're going to type in the name. Office nickname, so let's say for Keller Williams Pocono, it's Pocono Regional Realty as the company name. Our office name is KW Pocono. So those are the names that you could put in if it was a referral to here. Now, if it's Keller Williams Northampton County, they're Northampton County Regional Realty, and then Keller Williams Northampton County. Keller Williams Allentown is Allentown Regional Realty, and then Keller Williams Allentown. The way you'll know this information is you have to obtain a W-9 if there is an outside referral. You have to have a signed referral agreement and you have to have a W-9 uploaded into Command, and then you're going to use that W-9 that you received from that other office, and you're going to be able to plug in all of the information because it's going to be right on that form, guys. You're going to be able to plug in everything into this section here. Then the address, that'll be right on the form, so you'll be able to just type it in really quick. And then down below, the legal name, again, it's typically Northampton County Regional Realty or whatever the main name of the company is. And then last but not least is the tax ID number. That is right on the W-9, and you have to enter in the correct tax ID number. If you try and enter in all zeros, if you try and enter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, we return it to you. We need legitimate EIN numbers in there because when tax time comes around and we have to send out 1099s, we have a real issue if there's not correct tax ID numbers in there. And you'll be called and we'll say, we need the tax ID number, you need to get an updated W-9. So then from there, you're going to add the outside referral in. And then it would deduct that outside referral from the agent. And to do that, because you have to actually add it to the agent's portion as well, you're going to go to Edit Agent Payment. And in here where it says Outside Referrals, you're going to go in and type in the amount of the outside referral so that everything balances. And then you would save, and everything under the summary on the right-hand side would be saved and balanced. If it's out of balance, when you go to click Submit, it's going to tell you there's going to be an error message that it's out of balance, and you'll know where to go to correct it. So let's say, I'm going to show you what it looks like if that error message comes up. And I know we're about 5 minutes away from the end time of the class. So if anybody has to jump off, I completely understand. I know a few people had to. So if we save that and we submit, see how this error message came up, guys? This will happen if you're out of balance. So right now it's saying the remaining outside referral balance is not there. Well, it's because I never clicked on Add Outside Referral and inputted all of this information. All I did was add the outside referral to the one agent side. So you'd have to go in and you have to add the outside referral right here. But if there's no outside referral, you can delete it, save, and then you'd be able to go in and submit. This is the summary, so if you notice any of the dollar amounts or anything are off, you can go in and you can adjust each of the sections so that it balances correctly, and then you can submit. Just like the document section, guys, where there's open, submitted, approved, or returned, it's the same thing here. So to the right of summary, it's going to say open, which means you never submitted it. Submitted means you've submitted to the office. And then returned would mean that you need to redo your commission tab, and there will be notes with that. And approved would mean you're good to go and it's all approved. Again, the commission tab should always be submitted when it's under contract, but a lot of people like to wait until inspections happen and things like that. Some people wait until closing. Please don't wait until closing. Submit early and often for everything, because we can always return it to you for corrections. So that is how you prep to get paid. You get your documents uploaded to your opportunity and submitted for review. You get your commission tab entered and submitted, and you can always make corrections or update documents along the way and keep submitting and getting answers from the compliance team or the broker team so that your file is good to go and you're ready for closing. Does anyone, I know it's a lot of information, and that's why I'm going to make sure that the recording is uploaded to the page, the YouTube page. If you guys haven't followed the YouTube page or subscribed, please do so. But the recording will be on there. And as always, if you guys have questions, like you jump off here and you have a question on it, please feel free to call, text, or email me. But any questions on all of this information? Guys made it too easy today. Now, just know that you will have questions. These two sections are complicated when you're first getting started, but when you get in there and start actually using it, you'll feel more comfortable and everything will be good. So the YouTube page, it's in all of the weekly emails that you receive from me, and it's in my email signature. So it's the Keller Williams Pocono YouTube page. So you want to definitely subscribe and connect to it because all of the recordings for the classes that we do record are on the YouTube channel. But that's it, guys. And the next class that we're going to have next month will be all about DocuSign, the ins and outs, and some helpful tips and tricks. So hopefully everybody can jump on then. But if anybody has any questions, let me know. And thank you all for jumping on.
Thanks, Colleen.
Thank you. Have a great day, guys.
You too.